YouTube! I'm trying something new for this video. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot of advice out there on the internet for independent touring artists, DIY musicians, whatever vein you're kind of interested in. But a lot of it applies to musicians who have reached a certain stage in their career. For example, one thing, when I was touring last summer, I was doing a bunch of research trying to figure out some different guidelines, some tricks and tips that I could use to book a successful tour. And there was some information I could apply to myself, but a lot of it applied to larger bands that could play bigger, better venues. Even some of them would assume you had a booking agent. And so there's not a lot of advice out there for musicians who are kind of in a position that I am, where you're just starting out and you're just trying to make a living. You haven't quite gotten there yet. And I've learned a lot just from trial and error. I've learned a lot from other musicians that are like just one tier above me, or maybe a couple tiers above me. I feel like it's important to talk about this stuff, and I feel like I do have a little bit to offer just from experience. So if there's anyone out there that can benefit from this information, I'd really like to get it out there. So the thing I'm going to talk about today is 5 things that I thought I knew when I started out as a musician versus what I actually know to be true now. And I'm very excited to talk about this. It'll be a little embarrassing, but I really hope some of the stuff I say can resonate with some young musicians out there. All right, here we go. Number 1. I thought the first step in your music career was to record an album. It seemed to make sense. I wanted something that I could give to venues, and I had a handful of songs that I'd written in high school, and as soon as I graduated, that's what I wanted to do. The problem with that is, first of all, I wasn't playing out very much, so I had not really honed my skills as a musician. I think it's really important to play out steadily, really hone your skills before you get into the studio, because what happened was I laid the scratch tracks for these songs, which is just guitar and vocals. It's like the foundation you lay for the rest of the instrumentation, and then I started getting more gigs. And the songs changed as I played them out more. I ended up going back into the studio and having to work with these foundations that just didn't represent the music anymore. And it was just a tough spot to be in. So I would recommend, if you need to have some sort of a recording, because it is beneficial, things you can do, having a good video of a live show is very, very good to use for booking, because then not only are you sending venues a sample of your music, you're showing them your stage presence. And if you can get video of a venue where it looks like, or there is a lot of people in the venue, they'll be like, oh, this person can draw a crowd. And that tends to be better for booking shows. And I highly recommend recording your own album before paying for a studio, because then you'll learn a lot about the recording process without paying for your time learning. Like the first album, I don't regret it. It was a huge learning experience. But the second album I made, I recorded myself, and it was just a way more enjoyable process overall. And because I was so new to the recording process, it was a better environment, because I wasn't under the pressure of time. And then the other thing is, okay, let's say you do record an album like I did. That was the first thing I did. I had a release party. A lot of friends and family came out. It was great. But aside from that initial release, nothing really happened with it. Like I didn't have a name for myself. I didn't have a strong online presence. So I put all this work into this album, released it, and then nothing happened. So it's wonderful. I love recording my music because I love to be able to share it with people, but don't have unrealistic expectations about your first few albums, and really focus on live shows, and maybe posting some online videos, get a loop pedal, and then do some DIY recording, and then you'll really have some great skills, and you'll just be a pro when you actually do get into maybe a professional studio. You'll be able to just whack out song after song and really use your time efficiently. So that's what I would recommend. All right, number 2. This seems like an obvious one, but when I first started out, I was really under the impression that you kind of just got discovered as a musician. And yes, that does happen, but the important thing is don't wait around for that. Don't rely on that as your big break. Just take your fate into your own hands. Don't wait for someone to stumble across you, because the odds of that happening, unfortunately, are very slim. So just get out there, be your own booking agent, be your own manager. Just get out there and do it. And maybe you will get discovered. Your chances of being discovered are much higher if you're playing out steadily and you're posting really good online content. But even if you don't get discovered, if you're doing that stuff consistently, you can actually make a living without being discovered. And that's a wonderful thing about today's day and age. I highly recommend just get out there and do it. Put yourself out there. If you get discovered, that's great. But then you can say, you got there yourself. You put in the work, you earned it. And then if you don't get discovered, you still have a great career ahead of you. All right, this next one kind of ties into the last one. But, and this is something I believed really up till recently. And I thought that the other aspects of the music industry were better left up to the professionals. And that is still true. But here's the thing, you want to do as much as you can until you're in a position where you can A, afford to pay someone else for the other aspects like booking and producing and all that stuff, and B, it's a necessity. And I think that's very important. While you have the time, and while it's small enough for you to manage, you really should try to take control of every aspect of your career. So that means you're booking shows, and you're not only doing those things, but trying to be really good at them. And I find that can be kind of fun. Like, I've actually fallen in love with some aspects of the music industry that I never thought I would have an interest in, like booking, and just managing myself, the business aspect of it. I did not think I was a business-oriented person, but because it's something I'm very passionate about and it's beneficial to me, I've really started to enjoy it. It's crazy. But the other thing is if you've been doing it yourself and then you get to that point where you need to hire someone else, you'll know whether or not they're doing a good job because you've done it before, And the same goes with producing. Like, producing my own album, I'm so glad I decided to do that. And I love producing. Like, it's something I could see myself doing, if my actual music career falls through, or if I'm older and I'm ready to kind of lay off the performing aspect of things, I could totally just jump right into producing. So really don't limit yourself to just the performing and songwriting aspect. It may seem overwhelming, but really you'll just be such a more well-rounded and really do-it-yourself sort of musician. And that's the type of musician that really survives in this climate we have now, this very online, individual-driven music industry that we have right now. So take yourself as far as you can go before you start bringing other people on your team. Because if you're self-sufficient, the sky's really the limit with what you can do. Okay, so again, all this stuff kind of weaves together. But this is something that's even more recent that I've come to learn. As a musician, you feel like you have to live day by day. And I really believed that. I really bought into the starving artist mentality, where you play your shows and you just hope something better comes along. But I really think you don't have to do that. And it may be romantic for a little bit to feel like you're doing that, but really I would suggest developing a 1-year plan. And I just did this a few days ago, and I feel so much better about where I'm at with my music career. And that's something very specific. I can't tell you what your goals should be, but for example, my goals are related to my YouTube account and my Patreon account. So, how much money I want to be getting from Patreon, how many subscribers I want on YouTube, what kind of content, the amount of shows I want to be playing out. Just lay out really, really simple short-term and long-term goals. Just to have concrete things to work towards, I think is big, and it helps prevent you from getting caught in a rut, and it can just give you... I feel like it's given me a lot of hope, and the fact that these things are attainable, that's important. Like, lay out attainable goals and then think about, okay, what can I do? What do I have to do to get there? Like YouTube subscribers, that seems like something, you kind of just have to post your content and hope people subscribe. But, one thing I want to do is I want to start making videos like these that I think people can actually find useful. And it's not just me playing a song and be like, here, listen to my music, So on that note, if you think these videos are helpful, please like and subscribe. Comment below. I'm very new to this. I hate just sitting in front of a phone and talking, so let me know if you have any constructive criticism. I really appreciate it. All right, and that brings us to the last thing. And this is something I still struggle with to this day. And it's that you have to sort of pay your dues before you're worthy of being a professional musician. And that's just silly. Improvisation is something I really struggle with. And I've learned that just playing to backing tracks over and over again is not going to get you nearly as good as going to an open jam and just bombing some solos on somebody else's song. It's good to surround yourself with people that are a little bit better than you. And in the same sense, when you're advertising yourself, when you're selling yourself to venues or even at your shows, just because you're not making a living at this yet, if you're putting in the time and you're serious about it, there's no reason to not consider yourself a professional musician and to, I don't want to say demand, but to expect to be treated like one. So when you're sending emails to venues, it's, market yourself as a professional musician. It's like dressing for the job you want instead of the job you have. It's that sort of thing where, don't sell yourself short. I'd say sell yourself a little bit higher than what you think you're worth. Don't lie to venues about how many people you can bring in, stuff like that. Don't do stuff like that, but definitely market yourself as a professional musician. You're working hard. You're worthy of being treated as and treating yourself as a professional musician. And I think that's it, guys. I really hope this helped at least one person out there. This is the sort of thing, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if I had stumbled across this YouTube video, it would have been really helpful for me. So I hope I'm reaching someone out there who's maybe just getting started or maybe feels a little stuck with what they're doing. And I'm not trying to be preachy at all. Like, I'm still figuring stuff out, but I think it's good for people who are figuring stuff out, who are in the middle of this, working at this right now, to have a conversation about what's the best way to handle it, because we are in new frontier when it comes to the music industry. This is all very, very new stuff, and we're going to figure it out together, and we're going to share our music with the world. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you next month for another one of these videos. Thanks.